Hello and welcome back to Axoschools. Good morning, good evening, good night, or good 3 a.m. in the morning when you're binge watching all of the Axoschools videos because you want to get all of that knowledge in.
Yes, great intro, Karosh. Thank you for that. As mentioned, this week is a really cool week because we are having a poetry week. Today we are going to be learning a new type of poetry called a Diamante.
Yes, and before we jump into our Diamante, let's review quickly what we learned yesterday. What were some things we learned about what makes a poem a poem?
Well, we learned that some poems rhyme while others don't. We also learned about rhythm and meter.
Boom, boom, ch, bada, boom, boom, ch, boom, boom, ch, wicka, 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 wicka.
I don't want to be associated with that.
A rhythm like that? Well, yes, kind of. I really appreciated your beatbox. That was awesome.
It was beautiful.
A different type of rhythm just because we use the words to show our rhythm. So the stressed and unstressed syllables to help us find a rhythm in our poem. Yeah, so kind of more like that type of rhythm. Karosh, yesterday we learned that we were writing a limerick. We learned all about that type of poetry. Can you show us what we have in the background and what we're doing with that tree this week?
Yes. If you look right here, I have the poet tree. Get it? Poetry, poet tree. We are so original, you guys. We are literally the first people to ever have done this idea. So this is our poetry. Each branch will have a different type of poem. Like each branch will represent a different type of poem. And we will print each of our poems onto every single different leaf.
Nice. So that brings us to our Diamantes. Let's go over that one. Mandy, can you share with us the characteristics and format for this type of poem?
Absolutely. Can you guys see my screen okay?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So a diamante is just like it sounds. It's a diamond poem. So the actual shape of the poem is like a diamond. So that's one cool thing about poems is sometimes it's simply just the shape of the poem, right? So yeah, that's a diamante. Let's jump into what that means.
So the parts of speech are going to become very important in the Diamante poem. So we need to go over these and understand them so that we can create our poems appropriately. The first one is a noun. A noun is the subject or the person, place, or thing that a sentence is about. So in our example, we wrote the sentence, the dog barks. You can see that dog is underlined. The dog is the who in this sentence.
Mm-hmm.
Next, we have verb. A verb is a main part of speech that is often used to describe or indicate an action. And from the same example, the dog barks. Barks would be the verb because it's the action that the dog is ruffing.
You're exactly right. The next part of speech we need to talk about is in adjectives. Adjectives are words that are used to describe or modify nouns or pronouns. So in our sentence, we have to give some sort of characteristic or character trait of this dog. We chose the word fluffy. We could have chose the color. We could have chose big or small. Anything that describes the dog would be an adjective.
Yes. Then we have adverbs. An adverb is a word that modifies a verb, adjective, or another adverb. Another way to think about it is an adverb describes actions and it describes other descriptive words. So in this example, the fluffy dog barks loudly. Loudly is our adverb. It describes how the dog is barking. Adverbs usually do end in ly, not always.
But sometimes. All right, guys. This one, you gotta wrap your head around. It's a little bit trickier, but it's called a gerund. And it basically ends in ing, but it's a little tricky because it disguises itself, okay? So a gerund is a grammar term that's used to describe a verb. So the word is a verb, but it's acting like a noun. So it's like, wait, is that the subject of my sentence? I'm not sure. I gotta scour my sentence to look for the subject to make sure that maybe this is a gerund if it's ending in an ing. So in our example, we have barking loudly is something the fluffy dog likes to do. The dog is still our subject, so barking at the very beginning of the sentence is disguised as a noun. It's the thing the dog likes to do, not the action of actually barking. Again, if you can simply remember that a lot of times these things end in ing, that'll be helpful.
Yes, and when we talk about our diamantes as well, the gerunds are sometimes called ing verbs. And sometimes that's an easier way to think of it too. So whatever helps you remember what they are, that's great. Okay, perfect. Alrighty, so that brings us to synonyms and antonyms. I'm really glad I didn't say cinnamon. Now I can't say synonym. Okay, anyways, so a synonym is a word having the same or nearly the same meaning as another word or phrase. So same meaning as in yell and shout, or we might say old and ancient. Those two things mean the same thing in different words. Antonyms are the opposite. So some of those examples are opposite and same, or young and ancient, right? So we need to know those in order to do our poems as well.
Yes, we do. So now let's get into that diamond shape of our Diamante poem format. As you can see here, it looks like a diamond. So basically we have a top triangle and a bottom triangle. Okay, so let's work from our top all the way down to that middle line. In the first one, we have one noun. That's going to be your beginning subject. So you want to pick this accordingly to what you want to write about, because that's what you're going to be describing in line 2 with 2 adjectives about that topic. In line number 3, you're going to be using our gerunds or the ing words, and those are going to be about the first topic as well. That first noun you picked, you're going to do 3 ing words about them. On line number 4, this is our middle line. It's the bottom part of that triangle for both the top and the bottom. So there are going to be 4 nouns or a short phrase about both the beginning, top subject, and the ending subject. So this is where it gets tricky. Let's talk about that bottom triangle now. That very bottom line, line number 7, is going to have topic number 2. That's going to be 1 noun. Going back up, 6, we're going to have 2 adjectives again, doing this different topic or different subject. Line number 5, we're going to have 3 gerunds or ing words. And then if we put those together, we should have our diamond.
Very nice. I love that description of a diamante. So it's going to make a lot of sense too when we take a look at a few examples. So we're going to do that right now. So this is an example of comparing and contrasting topics. It doesn't always have to be this way, but it's the diamante we're going to be dealing with the most. And that's where we come up with 2 words that are opposite or antonyms, right? So in this example, we've got the noun sun, and then we've got the noun moon. So sun and moon are opposites in this situation, right? So the first word is sun, and then we go into 2 adjectives that describe the sun. We've got golden and glorious. And then we have our 3 ing verbs or gerunds. We've got glowing, warming, and burning. And then we've got the 4 nouns. This is what I really want to point out, because in this situation, you start with the 2 to describe the top one. So fire and sphere describe what?
Sun.
The sun, exactly. Reflector and orbiter describe what?
Moon.
Moon, exactly. So that's where you split it, right in the middle of the diamond. You describe the first 2 words are nouns that that you associate with the word sun, and then reflector and orbiter, they describe the moon. Then we've got glowing, glimmering, and changing. Those are 3 ing verbs that describe the moon. And then we've got silvery and serene, and then moon. Okay, so that describes that gives us our whole diamante, right? All right.
Love it.
Couple more examples. We've got opposites here. This first one is a very simple one. I wanted to give a simple and then a more complex one. So the first one is giving the difference between a cat and a dog. Okay, those 2 things are opposite. So the noun at the top is the cat. Cat, clever, cuddly, crouching, pouncing, purring, meow, feline, canine, bark, running, sniffing, yelping, lovable, smart, dog. Okay, so you can see the differences in the cat and the dog in the descriptive words as well as the gerunds. Okay. This one's a little bit more complex, and I really actually love this poem, but they decided to do two very opposite emotions or displays of emotion. The first word is timidity, which is to be timid. Yes, Croche?
I'd just like to add, the
Dogs
are lovable and smart, and while the cats are clever. They will try and bother you no matter what, and then they'll cuddle you to make up for it. Messed up.
That's how they show their love, I guess, though, you know?
Dogs for the win.
How did I know you were going to say that? All right, so this one is an example of some complex emotions. So timidity is feeling timid or shy, and confidence is feeling more assertive and confident in your own skin, right? So I thought this one was really cool. Timidity, doubtful, hesitant, wavering, dawdling, shrinking, unwilling to begin, beginning to believe, stretching, growing, daring, determined, spirited, confidence, right? So it just kind of builds. I think that is really cool. It also has a little bit of rhythm and rhyme in there. Not rhyme, a little bit of rhythm and meter.
And they used a phrase in that middle line.
Good point. So instead of using the meow, feline, canine, bark, the 4 nouns, you can also give 2 phrases. The first phrase describing the first one, and the second phrase describing your last noun. So unwilling to begin describes this, while beginning to believe describes confidence.
And I think that one's really interesting too, because if you read all the way through from that middle line to confidence, it's building confidence and using stronger language as it goes along, which is really cool.
Yes, I could even feel it in the way that I read it, right? Like I read those words and I felt small and shrinking and small. And then as I read beginning to believe, stretching, growing, daring, I could feel it in myself that I was feeling more confident because those words I associate with confidence.
Yeah.
Pretty cool poem. And it did exactly what we talked about yesterday, is it evokes some emotion.
Yeah, because even the timidity portion is going through all the feelings that you're feeling, which is ultimately leading up to being unwilling to begin because you're timid about it. So it's pretty cool. I like that a lot.
I like that as well. Okay, so let's see. Let's go ahead and give it a try on our own. So if you're one of our viewers and you are asked to write a Diamante for your class, this would be the time to do it, because we're actually going to walk you through it step by step and give some examples here. So both Danielle and Karosh are going to be doing this as we read through. Make sure you have a pen and a pencil. If you need to go grab those items real quick and join us, then now's the time to do that. Okay, so, yes, Karosh.
I just want to say the first step. The first step is you're going to be doing the 2 nouns. So you're going to pick the noun that's on the top and that's on the bottom, and they're going to have to be opposites. So I've already pre-picked my nouns, which I chose mountain and valley, because mountain and valley, and it kind of even makes the diamond shape.
Ooh.
I didn't even think about that.
That is so cool. I love that you chose those 2 words. That's awesome.
Danielle, do you have your opposites?
Yeah, so I'm actually going to not do opposites today. They're a little opposite, but they all come from one thing, and you'll understand that when I tell you my top and bottom. So on the top, I'm going to have tree. On the bottom, I'm going to have roots. So while they are a little opposite, they're all part of one thing. So that's another way you can do it as well.
I love that. And I'll be creating mine later. So I'll share that with you once we get it on our poetry. Okay. All right. So you thought of your 2 nouns. You've got your opposites. Step number 2. You go ahead.
Your first noun and think of 2 adjectives to describe that noun. So 2 descriptive words that are going to describe mountain for Karosh and tree for me. Mandy, I'm going to let you take the instructions from now on so I can think.
Yeah, so like for an example, for mountain, I might want to do something like high. So let's say I was using mountain in a sentence. I would say, that's one high mountain, or that's one tall mountain.
Very good. So you used high and tall, Karosh?
Yes, I'm going to write those.
Awesome. So those were the 2 adjectives that he used to describe mountain, which is at the top of his paper. Danielle, what did you use as your 2 adjectives?
I'm going to use green because if these trees are alive, we're hoping that they are green in color as a descriptor. I'm also going to use branches.
Love it. Very good. Very good. Okay, so now I want you guys to think of 3 ing verbs or gerunds involving your first noun. Okay, so ing verbs, those gerunds.
So I already know the first one I'm going to do, but I still got to think of 2 others. For the first one, for mountain, you climb mountains. So climbing mountains.
Good one. I like it. Danielle, do you have your gerunds?
I'm going to say growing for my tree, because hopefully it's growing. I'm going to do giving, and I'm going to do blooming.
Love it.
Could I have a little help? It's kind of hard to think of like 3 words.
Sure. Okay, so you're thinking of the word mountain, right, Karosh?
Yes.
Okay, and you've already used the word climbing.
Climbing and towering. I need one less word.
You have climbing and towering. Hopefully not falling.
Hopefully not falling off of the mountain.
How about?
Yeah, I got married recently.
Oh,
Congratulations.
You like the diamond?
Yesterday?
Yes. I got married. No, actually, I got married this morning. Wedding's tomorrow, but I already got the ring.
I already got the ring. Very nice. Climbing, towering.
How about skyscraping?
Yes. That's a good one.
I like that.
Okay.
Okay.
Did you guys all get your 3? Are we ready for step number 4?
Yep.
Okay, so we are now on line 4. So line 4, you're going to think of 2 nouns or phrases you associate with your first word and 2 nouns or phrases you associate with your second one. So in this situation, so here we are on step number 4 here. In step number 4, this is where your knowledge of synonyms and antonyms need to come in. You're essentially thinking of synonyms for your top word, okay? And synonyms for your bottom word. Yes, Karosh?
For mountain, I did Everest because Everest is the world's tallest mountain.
Love it.
I don't know if I just like I heard this a long time ago, but I forget if it's real or not. That Mount Everest grows like a few inches every year or something like that. Does it?
I feel like you're right, but I don't know like the fact of how much.
Yeah, I would almost,
like,
I bet you're right. I would think the opposite because of erosion, but I mean.
So if you're ever planning on climbing Mount Everest, do it now because next year it'll be taller.
Yeah, you're just constantly going to be challenged a bit more.
Okay.
Nice. Okay, so Everest, did you come up with another noun to describe mountain?
For mountain, I have Everest and sky, but now I need to think of 2 for valley.
It grows 5 centimeters a year. I just fact checked.
That is crazy. That's a cool fact to know. I had no idea. And it's the opposite of what I was thinking.
And the reason
why I knew is because me and my mom were always like, we were going to climb Mount Everest.
Aww.
And here's what it's saying is that the mountain grows as the Indian continental plate slants into Asia, which pushes that mountain range upward. So that's why it's growing.
That makes sense.
Very, very interesting.
Very, very interesting.
For valley, I think I thought of mine. I'm going to do, what's it called? Ground and canyon.
I picked ground too.
Very nice.
For root.
Now, would you guys share your nouns, all of them?
Okay. Everest, sky, ground, and canyon.
Good.
I have for tree, I have forest and sky. So that's funny that Karosh and I both have that. And then I have ground and dirt for root.
I also have ground.
Good. All right. Next line is to think of 3 ing verbs, but now we're describing that noun on the bottom. So Karosh is describing valley and Danielle is describing roots. Okay.
So like same thing we did with mountain, like it's a tall mountain. What would you say for valley? That's a deep valley. So I'm actually going to go with that.
So, but we're on line 5, Karosh, so that's your ing verbs. So just like you came up with.
I'm going to have to fix that.
That's okay.
I accidentally wrote that on the wrong line, so.
Don't worry about it. So on line number 5, you'll just want to come up with the ing verbs like you did with climbing for mountain.
Okay.
So I'm going to actually use a word that I used for tree as well. I'm going to use growing because the root system is also growing, and spreading. That's another one of my words.
Nice. Krosh, you could use like descending,
Or deepening.
deepening, concaving,
Maybe dipping.
dipping. Yeah,
Hmm.
those are good ones.
I already
I'm
have.
also going to do consuming for roots because they're taking in like nutrients and they're consuming that, not in a bad way, but you know.
I like that.
Hmm.
Let me know if you guys get stuck.
Okay, I know what my other two are gonna be.
What'd you come up with?
I'm doing dipping, digging, because I guess digging works for like a valley. I guess you dig it out or something like that. And then concaving.
Really good. Good one. All right. Are we ready for the next step? I got yours right, Danielle. You told me the ing words. Okay. All right. So line number 6 is taking your second noun and thinking of 2 adjectives to describe that noun.
So like the one I already said earlier, deep valley.
Yeah.
Like a tall mountain.
Very good.
Nice.
So you're thinking of 2 adjectives to describe valley. You already came up with deep, right?
Yes.
What's your other one to describe valley?
I don't know yet.
Okay.
I'm going to do dark, and I don't know, it doesn't really describe the roots, but it describes their surroundings mostly. Most roots are underground, so it's dark. And I'm going to do dirty because
Dark
there's
and dirty. I like it.
dirt.
I think I'm gonna go with grand. Like the Grand Canyon or something like that.
Ooh, yes, Karosh. That is good too. All right. Now the easiest step of all you got to do is write your last noun, valley.
I already did that in advance.
All right. I'm going to pin your guys' videos so that you can share them. Karosh, you want to go first?
Danielle, you can go first.
Okay. I'll pin hers first.
All right, you guys ready?
Yeah. How do I move?
Just go to the 3 dots on the top right of the person you want to pin.
Am
And
I pinned?
You're pinned.
Beautiful. All right, I did my best to write this in a diamond shape. I also used colors in mine. So here it is.
Very cool.
Tree, green branches, growing, giving, blooming, forest, sky, ground, dirt, consuming, growing, spreading, dark, dirty roots.
Very nice. I love it. And I like that you use different colors. That helps me visualize that you're describing the top and the bottom nouns separately. So if that helps you guys too, feel free to use different colors. Karosh, you ready?
I did not think of doing different colors, and also my letters are a little bit squished together, but I have
Nice.
mountain. What's it called? So I have mountain, and then high and tall, and then climbing, towering, and then skyscraping. And I had a misspell there, but I fixed it. And then Everest, sky, ground, and canyon, dipping, digging, concaving, deep, ground, and valley.
Love
I
it.
love that. And I love that it's actually like mountain and valley. I hadn't even thought of that. That's super creative. Very nice. And Karosh, you can add commas so that you separate your words. So be sure you do that at some point in time too. Nice job. I don't think I had yours pinned when I did it. Danielle, can you show us just one more time so I see you pinned? I took us off screen share. There we go. Very nice. So take a moment and appreciate the different colors she used there. Tree, green branches, growing, giving, blooming, forest, sky, ground, dirt, consuming, growing, spreading, dark, dirty roots. Very nice.
The hardest part is making it a diamond shape.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if you look here, mine kind of looks like a gun, but also, what's it called? This line, the third line is longer than the middle line, because even though this has 4 words and this has 3, these 3 words are longer than these 4 words.
Yes, and that's kind of tricky. Some people like to use the phrases there because that almost guarantees it'll be a little bit longer on the fourth line. But yeah, I love it. Sometimes it doesn't look quite like a diamond, and that's okay. You followed the rules. You did it right. All right, actually, speaking of rules, I'm really pumped because tomorrow we're going to break some rules. So free verse is a type of poem.
I'm just
So free verse, I appreciate that about you, Karosh. Free verse is the type of poem that breaks the rules, right? You get to just be really creative, where we kind of have some constraints where we have to follow certain patterns or rhyming patterns. We don't have to do that in free verse. So we're actually going to get to check out some favorite songs, and tomorrow should be fun. So join us then. Do you guys have anything else you want to add about Diamantes or anything?
Nope. Show us what you come up with.
Yeah, tell us in the comments. We'd love to see. Yeah. All right, that's all we have. Bye.
Bye.